Hey guys, Stealthy here. Tactical Tuesday, so we are back at good old Mudfight. If you haven't covered every inch of this map by now, then you probably haven't been paying enough attention to these videos, because it's pretty much the same thing every week. Anyway, what's different this week is that we have the Kyu-Maru Shiki as the main character for today's show. Kyu-Maru Shiki is the Japanese super heavy. It's based off of the Leopard 2A4. You can see it has, it has the Leopard 2A4's turret, more or less, but with some additions and some changes to that. What it lacks in armor, it makes up for in firepower. Because most super heavies have a maximum rate of fire of about 9 rounds a minute. This thing has 12. So it means that it may not be able to defend itself that well, at least not armor-wise. Its frontal armor is only 20 points, so that means that most tanks, especially the Russians ones with HGMs, are going to be giving you a specifically hard time. But what it makes up for is the gun. 23 points of armor penetration and 12 rounds a minute can definitely do a lot of damage to the enemy. One thing though, autonomy. Autonomy of this tank is not very good. I'm currently speeding this up, trying to get the stats in. And there we go. Stats of the Kyu-Maru Shiki means that autonomy is only 350. And with a 350 kilometer autonomy, if you are going to be moving around a lot, and that's usually what happens in tacticals, you are going to have to keep an eye on your mobility a lot more than you may be doing with other tanks. Because these Japanese tanks, and actually the entirety of the Blue Dragon tanks, are quite notorious for not having a lot of endurance as far as it comes to mobility. Now he's moving up, Chugata on the left with recon infantry, we got a Roland, we have a T infantry, Leopard 2 command tank, Leopard 1 recon from the Dutch, so this is probably I'd say by the looks of it, not a specific coalition or a specific deck type, but Dutch-German coalition. JSDF Rangers have been deployed. He's using the Chugata, which is completely unarmed, to see what's out there, and he already spotted 4 contacts. So good play there, because the Chugata was not going to be that useful anyway. T-72M pops into view. MTLBVs, Rezvetkas. Over here seems to be another MTLBV. And you know what? For this one, I'm going to be using the unit viewer. And there we go. For some reason oh right, it's a replay, so it won't actually let me use the unit viewer, whatever. Okay, so we have plenty of targets here. We also have a few threats there, and really the only heavy tank that they have on the left is the Kyu. Now just check the reload on this thing. It reloads very, very nicely. Curiously, is not at elite yet. It is a veteran tank, so that means that its accuracy is going to be a bit better. It's going to be quite good at recovering from panics, but it is not as good as it could be, although we're probably going to see it rank up itself in this match. A couple of targets come up. JSDF Ranger is doing a fantastic job here spotting, and he's moving them exactly along this tree line, or at least this hedge line here, so that they're still in cover, while they can still provide intel. And that's exactly what they're doing. We've got a T-72 variant here, MTLBV, another T-72, there goes a 25-point target. I don't know exactly what it was. Octal was asking if he should push his recon up. Gotta say, in this current situation, I wouldn't recommend it. T-72 there, that's what we know, but there could be anything that is lethal to tanks over in this tree line. The Kyu has already gone through almost half of its fuel. That's how hungry these things are. And I believe that the autonomy stat is stating that the unit can move not 350 kilometers, but 350 seconds. So this means that if you're moving through rough terrain like this, you're not going to be using that full speed of 70 kph off-road. You're going to be actually going a lot slower, and it means you can cover a lot less distance. He took a hit from a T-80UK there. T-80UK fired at least 2 missiles so far. And it seems to be now skirmishing with the Verkenning tank. Leopard 2 command tank, very happily sitting back there watching the action, not going to get involved against the T-80 UK. Kyu was taking a bit of damage, but otherwise alright. Do we have any help coming in? Just a bit of recon. We have a seed aircraft circling overhead, potentially going after that flakcom over there. There's the missile, and there's the kill. There's another Tor going active. The F-16 is not hanging around and getting out of there while it still can. So we know that there is another AA unit, and that's exactly being marked over there. Even the type of vehicle. So very, very good communication with the rest of the team there. Now, plenty of targets, especially considering they only have one Kyu, which is basically holding the line here, against what seems to be at least 3 players. So this thing got its work cut out for it, and unfortunately some of these are in fact armed with ATGMs. T-72B has the Sphere, the Korshuns have their Susang Po missile, the T-72M is not armed with a secondary missile. This is basically a brother tank, and what we have over here is the T-80UK, which is not exactly tank friendly either. You're going to have to kill that thing fast. Kyu pushing up, immediately taking fire from the T-72B. It narrowly misses the tank. You can see it's already going into the green for fuel. 427 out of 1100, but it made them waste another Sphere missile. Now, unless we get some sort of reinforcement over on the left, we're going to be in trouble. Unfortunately, we have Psycho, which is pushing in with an M1A2. This thing has the armor, 22 points. It's still not enough to survive or to walk away from a hit from an ATGM unharmed. It's still going to take a little bit more than what you'd like it to as far as damage, but it can at least stand up to those missiles a bit longer. Kyu, in the meanwhile, engaging the T-72B, takes it out for 90 points. Loss of stabilization, so it will not be able to fire on the move. While firing on the move with this tank is quite reliable, 65%. Now in a situation like this, he just fired from, let's say, where this crater is. He only moved back a couple meters. I would personally walk it back a bit further, because if there is a cluster bomber aircraft, which you don't see that often, but it is possible, if you see one of those come in, then they can very easily hit the Kyu-Maru Shiki. And with a top armor of only 3, they're going to do a lot of damage to it. You got the cargo coming in, mainly to repair the tank. Fuel is secondary. First you want to make sure that the tank is actually still there by the time it needs fuel. So repairs are coming in first. And the Chugata probably has enough supplies aboard to also resupply ammunition and fuel. It has fired 6 rounds. He already got 135 points thanks to a kill on the T-72, a couple of secondary targets, and with his M1A2 buddy coming up, these guys should be able to push out all of these targets on the end here. Octal was saying, let's kill this light stuff at maximum tank range. Doctor's saying, no, let me repair first. I'm not going to go in there with a half-wounded tank. The M1A2, also at the front line, also running into fuel issues. Not exactly sure where it came from, but its autonomy at 425 would state that it's probably coming from somewhere middle, and decided to divert over to the left flank. But it is also a tank that's going to need quite a bit of fuel to keep going. So we have 2 tanks, they're both ready to go, except for the fuel supply. He's asking, are you ready? And I gotta say, with my color blindness, it's really hard to see who put up the marker, but I think it's the doctor. So the guy in command of the Kyu-Maru Shiki. MTLBV comes in, gets whacked by the M1A2. He says, no, let's get you some fuel first. We first need to make sure that this thing can do maneuvers before risking it and risking running out of fuel. Kyu pushes up. Misses the Korshun by the looks of it. 86% accuracy, there's a Korshun kill, 15 points. The Leopard Recon comes in, but so does an Su-25K. This thing is not tank friendly, and it seems to be, as far as I'm concerned, underground. But without proper recon, I think that they were not able to actually find the to find the tanks, and they were forced to pull back. JSDF Rangers still spotting. These tanks, for some reason, are out in the open. I'm not sure why. I'm not exactly sure why he brought 3 T-72Ms either, because that would not seem like a very good idea against super heavies, which you usually find on this end. But for some reason, this is the setup that he chose. Range on these tanks is 2100 with 12 frontal armor. With a gun that does 23 damage at 2275 meter range, you can pretty rapidly dispose of all of these threats. Another 15 pointer going down. Over here we have the T-80 UK. So they know where it is. They just cannot attack it quite yet. M1A2 looks like it's still awaiting fuel. At 160 points of fuel left, it is not recommended to go skirmishing at this stage. So for now we only have the Kyu on the front line. And the Kyu is in cover. It does have some AA around, but if that Su-25 does decide to come around again, without proper ASF support for blue, this tank could end up going down. But now we have 3 T-72M spotted, we have an AA battery, Strela 10M, a couple of other targets, Mi-28s, we have BGR-60 there. Any AA is being asked by Retard. Doctor saying AA marked. That's the AA, that's the Strela. And, oh come on, get that M192 some fuel. Yep, Psycho's also bringing in a cargo truck. Is he going off-roading already? Okay. I'm not sure why he's off-roading already. You can just easily take the road up about this point or even further, considering that they have pretty good dominating position from here. Kyu engaging. Fired one round. Killed off the HGM team, which was only a Fagot team, so not that lethal. And suddenly taking some mortar fire. We've already seen those mortars fire a couple of times, but they weren't that accurate yet. T-72M pushes forward. Seems to be exposing the side. There's another hit on another T-72M. You can see he's dashing the Kyu forward and backwards to try and get into cover, while definitely blooding their noses a bit. All these T-270Ms are not that good as far as hit points go. Gun tank pushing up. This is very dangerous. Having your AA this close means that one swipe of a mortar battery could possibly wipe out both. So be very, very careful with your AA in this situation. M1A2 finally more or less fueled up. It's only taken up half of the amount of fuel that it needs. And for now, the Kyu is also taking on a few repair points with the Chugata cargo back there. There's another kill. Leopard Recon managed to get the kill there. Can it do it again? Yep, Fagot going down. Leopard took a good hit there though. Down to 4 hit points. It needs to hit this guy right now. There we go. He's out. Time to get this Leopard out of here right now. I gotta say, I still think that this Leopard with the camo netting on it is one of the nicest looking tanks over here. In the meanwhile, the Kyu is pushing up. It might be engaging the T-80. Not exactly sure if that's it, but it does have a stabilization malfunction. There it is, 200 points. No more T-80. 45 points, that was probably a helo going down, thanks to the gun tank. Oh, you're gonna want to keep it moving. 55 point kill on the T-72. Longbow takes out what seems to be an AA unit. T-72M actually manages to avoid the longbow missiles, which is quite a feat considering it has 70% accuracy. And for now the Kyu is pushing back slowly. It has 7 out of 10 hit points left, so it can survive for a while. Su-25K comes in, tries to put pressure on the tanks, but gets shot down by the Eagle. Thank you, Duity, for keeping this guy safe. Helo went down. Don't tell me that's the longbow. No, looks like a DAP. A DAP. I'm not sure why it was pushing forward, but it was quite risky. Missile narrowly misses the longbow there. If it would have hit, it would have killed the longbow. So he is going back home quite fast in order to get repaired. Octal Satan taking point. Unfortunately, it seems that his command tank, got taken out. He's no longer there. So they're not actually taking the point right now. Dote is saying we got a Nighthawk incoming, so he's going to try and strike something. Gun tank gets wiped out instantly by a rocket strike. And with that, the rocket pod plane... Oh, it does go down. I thought it was managing to get out of there. So they don't really have that much of the AA units left. All the AA that they have left is back here. And one Fliegerfaust unit, but that's it. So if the enemy team manages to provide another tank hunter, then they have a pretty good chance of knocking those tanks out. Probably both of them at the same time. Got a Bachongsu infantry units, taking a lot of the fire from both of the tanks and whatever other units are currently up here, including, and this surprises me, the wounded longbow. If this would have been my longbow, I'd have taken it home, but this guy is playing it risky. M1A2, once again, running into the limitations imposed by its fuel tank. 300 out of 1900 points left. That's going down fast. Kyu at 400. It's not doing that well either. And it seems to be just a touch forward. There, the doctor realized it. He should be in cover, but his unit is not blinking. Which means that the unit is being detected by something. Presumably something inside this tree line. Sokol coming in, not particularly dangerous. Although, at this range, they could potentially kill off the Susek Days without being countered at all. And talking of countering, we have an Mi-24P coming in, DHS variant. The the M1A2 is taking a lot of fire. Kyu-Maru Shiki is going to be up next. Fortunately, this thing only has 4 of those missiles, and it just managed to screw up the third launch. Fourth is missed as well. So this thing is going to not be able to do that much damage against the tanks anymore. Quite a dangerous run there by the F-15C. And so far, the Mi-24 has taken some damage, forcing it to go back home. Not only to get repaired, but probably also to get some new missiles in. This should give the tanks that we have over here a bit of a breather to get back up, get repaired, and potentially take on a lot of fuel. Because look at that, the M1A2 is completely out. Very, very bad situation to be in. Chugata has everything enabled but fuel. And there we go. He saw that the M1A2 needed fuel. But these things are hungry. The M1A2 taking on fuel from its own cargo truck now. Kyu-Maru Shiki getting repaired. And actually no longer getting repaired, as Doubt thinks it's more important for the M1A2 to get fuel. Which, in this situation, I do agree with. You need to keep this tank in cover. If you don't, then you're presenting yourself as a very, very nice target. Now they're still being spotted, or at least they were. No, they're no longer spotted. M1A2 managed to get another kill shot on what seems to be a transport. And it seems that Blue has a couple of units behind the lines. Kustjäger, Volskamjäger and Stormer, as well as a Lynx AH-7, which still has all of its rocket pods standing by. They're wasting units back here, so push is what Kassam is saying. This is all of his stuff up here. And with the enemy team being distracted there, he's forcing the rest of the team on to keep moving, keep going, keep pushing. Which is not a bad idea, because let's face it, if the enemy is distracted, if they are wasting resources there, then it would be a really good time to push. Looks like the Recon Leopard was able to take out a Command Chonma-Ho 4 there. Or at least a Command Chonma-Ho tank. DHS coming back. The Pip does have 3 missiles standing by for it, with a 55% accuracy. It will need to hit this thing. And that's... oh, there we go. 1 hit. And there's the second hit. 95 points for the Pip. Which instantly repaid itself, and then some. 25 points in profit for the Pip here. The thing is that these missiles take up a lot of logistics. So it's going to take quite a while for this thing to actually get back up to its full missile count. And for it to deter against enemy air pushes. SU-30 SM-2 surrendered. I saw Memphis Rock surrendering before. Not sure about the other guys. I haven't really been paying attention to that. But so far, Blue seems to be doing quite nice. Red has scored 1300 points versus 2600 for Blue. And at that stage, it's usually GG for the team that has this many points, as well as this much terrain. Although, terrain on the right side is completely under control of red. They're saying that they have infantry here, but it is being controlled by the reds. I saw a plane come in. This guy's still napalming the area, while he's already been able to kill off the enemy forces here. But once again, if you can keep the enemy attention at a position where there's no longer a target, then perfect. That is the perfect distraction. Fagot team managed to get one little hit on the M1A2, barely does any damage. And whoa, JSDF Rangers going up against Afghansky and getting their asses handed to them. This thing is probably too deep inside the tree line for either of these tanks to be of any help. So the Kyu is rushing up, suddenly dashing to the other direction, getting a 15-point kill there. There's another F5B up. The Rangers have managed to make it out alive, but only barely. These guys are going to need a bit of help to get themselves back up to full strength. Now let's hope that the enemy team does not have any high-end anti-tank infantry in this tree line, or it's going to be a particularly painful experience for blue. If you'd have some sort of VDV-90 squad over here, you could easily wipe out the Kyu and then the M1A2, getting you a lot of points. There's the Afghansky that mauled the Rangers. M1A2 takes the one out and the Kyu-Maru Shiki took the other. Fliegerfaust from Octal, again hitting the Mi-8 and target is down. Now, if you have teammates like Octal who's providing a lot of, I'm going to say, supporting forces or secondary forces to this push, then be sure to thank them. Because without these AA support, without providing the Fliegerfaust, the Roland, the Recon, these two tanks would not have been nearly as effective as they are right now. So be sure to thank your supports. Whether they're playing support decks or not, if they're supporting you as a player, then just give them a shout out for saying thank you guys for making my tanks survive or making my tanks do as well as they're doing. Strela 3 team limping home. Now these guys are pretty slow at 15 kph. They're going to take forever to get to where they need to go. But then again, they're carrying 6 of those Strela missiles, so let's cut these guys some slack. Or actually, they seem to be moonwalking home, considering that the animation for walking is a bit broken. But so are the guys. Never mind. There's the command unit. Finally found the UAZ. Dutch is saying an attack marker. Look at that. That's the target. Kyu-Maru Shiki trying to push out. This thing has medium optics, which means that to some extent it can spot for itself. And we got someone already claiming the kill here. Let's see who's going to get it first. The Recon Leopard or the Kyu-Maru Shiki? I think it's going to be the Leopard. Who's going to get it? And there's the Leopard, and the Leopard takes it out. Blue takes over Foxtrot thanks to the CV from the Doctor who's managed to make it into this side. Looks like another chopper came in, I believe a Recon variant. It was going down a bit too fast for me to see. And with this, they're already resupplying the units that they have over here. Another command unit gets taken out by Octal and the Leopard. Look at that, he's already scored 705 points. Putting him, as pretty much a supporting player, at the highest score for Blue. Followed slightly behind by the Doctor himself with the Kyu-Maru Shiki. We have 20-point kill there. And it looks like, whoops, that was another 40-point air kill. That was one of those rocket pod planes. No longer there. Easy one-shot kill for the PIP-3, but the PIP is now completely out of missiles. PIP-3 is not really the priority at this stage. The Kyu-Maru Shiki is, because you cannot really push with a PIP-3. Whereas a Kyu-Maru Shiki is pretty decent at pushing here, but be careful. This town can still be quite the death trap. Again, if the enemy has something along the lines of VDV-90 here, with that very, very dangerous AT weapon, then you can find yourself taking your tank either back to repairs or just completely to the scrap heap in little to no time. Unfortunately, he lost his infantry there in the town. And we have an incoming marker, probably the Nighthawk, claiming a kill there. That's not the only unit that's still moving about there. M1A2, once again, complaining about lack of fuel. These things are, as far as weapon platforms, very good. Very accurate, very good gun, nice amount of rounds, decent rate of fire, good armor, good speed, but their autonomy is going to set them back. That is something that you always need to keep an eye out with this specific tank. More so with the Kyu. But then again, I believe the Kyu is 5 points cheaper, no, 10 points cheaper even than the M1A2. You can see he's very carefully pushing over the edge here, trying not to get killed off by any AT infantry. Infantry did try to take a shot. Motostrokey 90 is not something that you want to treat lightly either. 100% accuracy. He narrowly avoided an ATGM there, and he's pushing back just as about the Motostrokey were about to fire. He's saying, whoa, careful there. Do not push over this far. There's another Conqueror squad over there, and it may have been able to kill off the Leopard that was being deployed by Octal. We have Retarded over on the left with a couple of air units trying to support the push here. The DAP, I'm not sure why he's chosen to use a DAP in this situation. Wouldn't be my first choice. But he may be trying to put pressure on enemy helicopters. Kiowa Warrior coming in for the tank assists with Hellfire missiles. Unfortunately, I think they're wasting Hellfires currently. Oh, it's just a Conquerors, it's not even that cheap. I was thinking it might have been a bit cheaper. There's the Strela, and it manages to nail both of the helicopters. Kyu-Maru Shiki pushes forward, no more Conquerors. It looks like the Kyu is going to be able to get quite a few kills there. There's another 15-pointer. Time to go in and get the kill on the Strela. A bit of vengeance for making the double kill, actually, on the two helos that went in there. So we can find it. Might have been a bit of artillery coming in. And I think that the unit already went down. The Kyu is taking a different route. Straight up the cliff edge here. And it is looking to kill a target. There it is. Strela was running away, but not fast enough. Kyu-Maru Shiki did get it. One issue. It's running out of fuel. That might very well be the title of this video. Running out of fuel. Because that's what these things do best. And unless he gets another resupply unit up here fast, he might not even be able to make it to the enemy fob and try to steal it there. JSDF Rangers standing by to push over with the support of the Kyu-Maru Shiki. Let's see what the M1A2 is up to. Completely refueled, standing by, ready to make the next push onto this town. Although with an M1A2 I would not drive up there. Way too dangerous. Taking a tank into an urban situation is basically asking to get killed. Still a couple of AA units, infrared, trying to kill off the wild weasel there. So this area is still a bit of a death trap. And we still have some helicopters moving about. Considering they're going back here, I think that they may be trying to rearm. They may be trying to land to get some more rocket pods on. Fortunately, Octal is still providing the Fliegerfaust 2 team here. And still providing the allies over there with a bit of AA in case the helos do come back. Here's the Chugatas. Once again, going back to the Kyu-Maru Shiki in order to get some more fuel onto it. And hopefully with that they can finish off the game. Basically coming into the enemy team from almost 3 directions at once. Pushing over this side, trying to ramp up this ridge over there. And it seems that we even have a couple of M36s pushing over this side. Although with their autonomy, which is even worse, at 250, I doubt that they're going to make it there. Kyu, ready to go. It's once again almost completely taken all of the supplies provided by the Chugatas. And another JSDF Ranger squad is ready to start pushing with their buddies in order to take over this town. In the meanwhile, we have 2 infantry groups trying to slug it out here. And fortunately the M1A2 comes in. This is where those 2 machine guns on this tank really start to help out. Provided that the RPG-7 VR does not manage to get a hit on the Abrams. If it does, then you're going to be taking a lot of damage, depending on where this thing hits. This thing has 24 armor penetration. If that hits your side, you can most of the time kiss your tank goodbye. It's no longer there. One group of JSDF Rangers has been destroyed. Seems that Red is still putting up quite a fight. Unless... oh, there we go. There's the AA. Kyu-Maru Shiki is now taking shots at the fob. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, because this is going to take a whole lot of rounds to take down. And it doesn't carry that many rounds. There we go. He's engaging a better target now, the Modestroki. Providing suppression so that the JSDF Rangers can push in and hopefully can take out the ASU very fast. There we go. JSDF pushing in. They're still struggling. Need to get into this building fast. Now, I believe that this tank only has 3 HE. Unfortunately, it's mostly there to kill enemy tanks. It's not that good as a fire support tank to provide fire and suppression against enemy infantry. Especially if the enemy infantry is going to show up in this group. We got 2 Modestroki. This one's probably going to go down soon. This one, not so much. KV-107 providing additional fire support with a minigun. There's one group down. But they're fighting from right next to a fob, making this a bit more difficult. Rangers coming in. M1A2 has pushed through that initial town. And there's the command infantry. Is that the only command that they have left, is the question. I don't think so. Command infantry trying to make it out alive. Even the Humvees are now adding their machine gun fire to the kill. There we go, the kill on the command infantry. It's not the last one. Zone is still controlled by Red. And Alpha is pretty much the entire map is controlled by Blue. So the last CV is either in this zone or somewhere further back. You never know where you're going to find these things. Kyu almost running out of ammo of its main gun. So if at all possible, kill these guys, take over a fob and resupply. There we go. Taking on ammo, taking on fuel once again. And just in time too, with the JSDF Rangers down to their last guy. Another fob's been captured by Octal. And at this point the Doctor has by far overtaken Octal. Octal at 735, the Doctor at 985. And let's see if the M1A2 is going to be able to actually detect some more units here. Octal pushed in a Leopard 2 command tank in order to neutralize control of the zone so they can no longer bring in forces. There's yet another command unit. And the question is that... nope, it's not the last one. Looks like something just took a bit of damage. Not sure what though. Concours over on the left. Kill it. Before it manages to get a shot in. Turret's rotating. Quite slowly actually. There we go. Kill 45. Their aircraft went down. Presumably a Blue 4 aircraft though. Considering that Red can no longer call in any aircraft. South Korean. I think a Peace Pheasant. But I'm not 100% on that. Looks like a lot of... oh, don't walk your Rangers through the napalm. They're not going to come out any prettier. Oh, Rangers almost being tasked to walk right through the fire there. And with 30 seconds left, I think that they're about to find the last CV. Or are they just going to surrender? Yep, I think that that was the last kill. So, that was the game. The Doctor with 1190 points, 165 losses. Now once again, big shout out to Octal there on behalf of the Doctor for providing such good AA cover, as well as the recon from the Leopard 1 Verkenning tank. Really, really nice cooperative play there. And these are the type of teammates that you need in order to pull off a score like that, where you have all of the damage and they provide you with the supporting units in order to keep that Kyu alive, in order to keep that Kyu safe from air attacks, in order to keep it fueled up. As far as the kill list goes, the Kyu-Maru Shiki killing so many different units. Rozvetkas, Conquerors, tanks. We have the T-80 UK, which is by far the biggest kill it got this game. More T-72Ms, Spogs, we got Conquerors of all types and varieties, recon units, multiple groups of Motostrelki. The gun tank taking down only one Mi-8 before it met its demise a bit too soon, thanks to that rocket pod plane that came in, the F-5B I think. No, actually it wasn't an F-5B, it was a MiG-21 something. The PIP-3 did get a couple of revenge kills on the enemy air force. F-5Bs, 3 helicopters, 2 Mi-8 TVs and 1 DHS. And the infantry was able to take out some infantry groups, but nothing too serious. Losses consisted of a couple of Rangers here, KV-107s, some transports, another recon group, bit of infantry, and the gun tank. So all in all, nothing too severe. And with that, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you have any good games for Tactical Tuesdays, preferably on a map other than Mudfight, then I am all ears. Be able to send that in through the link in the description and I'll be happy to feature it next week. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more videos.